Week 12 wraps up with a monster matchup in the West. The Roughriders are 8-1 for the first time since 2013. The last time, yes, they won the Grey Cup, but their only loss of the season coming against the Stampeders, who look to improve their record in the West to 5-0. Calgary, Saskatchewan, coming up on TSN. Trevor Harris looking to continue his dominance tonight. 4 TV passes shy of 200 for his career. Will be just the 15th QB in CFL history to reach that milestone, but certainly a tough task tonight against Calgary, who are nice and rested coming off that bye. And Vernon Adams, 28-36, 428 passing yards and 3 TDs the last time these two teams met in week number 6. And as mentioned, it was the victory for the Calgary Stampeders over the Riders. They're playing for the series tonight. Of course, if you've been watching the CFL all day long, which of course you have, you know that our first game was in downtown Toronto, and my goodness, it did not disappoint. The Toronto Argonauts knocking off the BC Lions. It is the CNE. We have, of course, had the CNE game, and it's been a blast all day long. Kate Burness back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Dave Naylor, Milt Stiegel. And look, we built up this game here, Saskatchewan and Calgary, as the game, the marquee game of the weekend. I'm not going to lie, now they have a lot to live up to, because Toronto and BC was phenomenal, Enoch.
Man, was it ever. I mean, you saw the amount of points, the excitement from this game. And I think we're going to see a little bit of the same, but you know that these two defenses are so fierce, especially Saskatchewan Roughriders defense. And this guy right there, Debo, Micah Johnson, is going to look to put Vernon Adams Jr. in a whole lot of problems. So it's going to be interesting tonight.
Yeah, I think this is a fascinating game. I mean, these teams are the two best teams when it comes to explosive pass plays. They're also teams that have great run games. So watching how the defenses manage that at the line of scrimmage, if they play too tight, these are teams that can go over the top and have all season. Of course, the Calgary Stampeders did that with Damian Halford big time in their first meeting.
Playoff type game. Both these teams want to come away with the victory, but I'm going to predict something right here. I think the great Nostradamus has spoken. I think if Saskatchewan wins this game and win next week, they'll win the East, the West. That's what I'm predicting right there. They'll have at least 6 points up on each team.
Is this your Western final?
Yes, this is.
This is your Western final.
Well, if they beat Winnipeg next week.
Oh, I get you. I get you. You just said that. Beat Winnipeg. I heard you say that.
If they beat Winnipeg. I didn't say they
I think you said beat Winnipeg.
I said if they beat Winnipeg.
You know he's careful.
Did you hear that?
Don't mess me up with my people, Kate.
You know he's
Deborah Basil of Lethbridge, Alberta. This is your chance to win big. Thanks to Save on Foods' $1 Million touchdown to win. If kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could win $1 million. Good luck, Deborah. Let's get you to Farhan Lalji and Dwayne Ford.
Thank you, Kate. The last time these two teams played, we had to wait a full day to actually watch them play. We don't have to wait here. It's a perfect afternoon for football. I know people are excited about Labor Day, but this might be the game of the year right now, Dwayne, led by 2 elite quarterbacks.
Yeah, these two guys put on an absolute show the last time they faced off against each other. You mentioned the anticipation of waiting a day for this one. I think everyone has had this day marked on the calendar ever since that. Trevor Harris for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the veteran, enjoying arguably the best season of his career. And of course, Vernon Adams, a man credited with having made a huge contribution to turning around the Calgary Stampeders.
Meanwhile, the two coaches in this one, we'll start with Dave Dickinson, who is coaching in his 150th game. He's enjoying this year a lot more than he did last year. Corey Mace, meanwhile, has his team at 8-1. 9-1 would be the best record in franchise history. He says they lost their identity the last time these two teams played. They got out physical. He is determined that that is not going to happen again. Calgary won the toss. They have deferred to the second half, so Saskatchewan will receive, and we have got Dante Myers and Dre McCray deep to receive. Let's get this one underway. The top two teams in the West, 8-1 Saskatchewan, 6-3 Calgary. Should be a great one. Rene Paredes with the kickoff. Dre McCray takes it at his own 16-yard line up across the 30 before being brought down. Bailey Devine Scott with the tackle at the 35-yard line, and a flag comes out early.
Well, no doubt emotions will be high in this one.
15-yard misconduct penalty. Calgary number 77. Check that, 10-yard misconduct penalty.
A lot of emotion heading into this game. If you're Kalon Thomas, though, you can't do this.
Yeah, you see, he got the hands up high going into contact on A.J. Allen. Leads to a bit of a wrestling match. Little right-handed swat to the face mask after the play. Gets the Riders almost out to midfield here.
Yeah, good field position for the opening drive. Trevor Harris, who's been on some kind of a roll, and when he is healthy, he is hard to stop right now. A.J. Ouellette next to him. This time the give on the first play of the game, and you get the sense that Saskatchewan really wants to set a tone here with their running game.
Yeah, this was where they struggled. The last time these two teams met was running the football, and that contributed, obviously, to the air show that ensued. Now, you talk about the desire for physicality from Saskatchewan. Look for Jamarcus Hardrick, the veteran, on that offensive line to be one of the guys looking to set the tone. And in that receiving core, Dante Myers has emerged as one of the perhaps most underrated big play threats in the Canadian Football League through the first half of this 2025 season.
Yeah, he's had 3 games of over 125 yards. Both he and Keyshawn Johnson really stepping up for this team this year. 2nd and 6. Harris drops back, looks left, going deep to Myers, has it in his hands. Penalty flag on the play. Looks like we got pass interference early here.
And right out of the gate, looking for that deep ball to Myers. Comes in with 8 catches of 30-plus yards on the season.
Pass interference. Calgary number 44. Spot of the foul. First down.
Anthony Johnson with the penalty. It's a 41-yard net gain for Saskatchewan. Looks like we got a challenge flag already coming out here.
And it looked like, to me, there was maybe some contact.
Calgary is challenging the call of defensive pass interference. We'll review the play.
You know, I suspected that the call may have had to do with the left hand of Johnson on the right hand of Myers, right arm of Myers, as the receiver tried to adjust inward to the football. If they deem that to be significant enough to have prevented him from making a play on the ball. But ultimately, I thought at the tail end, looked like pretty good defense. But to me, there was some contact early.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's enough there to overturn this. Myers had it in his hands, and, you know, other situations he might catch that one.
So watch that left hand on the right arm of Myers maybe led to the receiver getting his arm up a little bit late.
Johnson did, in fact, get his right hand in to break it up.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure there's enough there to overturn that because of that contact you talked about.
Yeah, I would agree.
After review by the replay center, the ruling on the field stands. Calgary will be charged their first timeout.
And as importantly, along with the 41 yards, they lose their challenge very early in this game.
I thought it interesting to hear the reaction of the crowd in this one, as there's a whole lot of green interspersed amongst the red in the McMahon Stadium bleachers here today. So a lot of cheers when you didn't necessarily expect them at the announcement of that call.
Yeah, still a bit of a late trickling in crowd, but we're expecting close to 28,000, the best crowd of the year in Calgary by far this season. And Trevor Harris and the Stampeders are in the red zone, and A.J. Ouellette is going nowhere. Clarence Hicks with the tackle there for a loss of 1.
Yeah, we take a look at this Calgary defense. Much said in the early portion of this season about newcomer Jalen Hutchings at the defensive tackle spot. He has been a force. Derek Moncrief has brought leadership to the defense. Veteran player, former Saskatchewan Roughrider. And same can be said of Damon Webb on the back end from his safety spot.
Certainly a lot of players that have played for the other team in this game, including head coach Corey Mace. So 2nd and 11, Calgary showing blitz, and they're bringing it. Harris gets the ball, he's looking deep, and it's dropped. Keyshawn Johnson had it in his hands. He had 6, and doesn't have it.
Yeah, you can see Johnson come open. He made a nice burst to get to this ball, as Harris is leading him deep in the end zone, but just through the outstretched fingertips of Saskatchewan's leading receiver.
Brett Lowther on, an embattled Brett Lowther on for the field goal right here. After a tough week last week, this one from 28 yards out. His kick is up, and it's wide. Oh. Let's see what the signal is. I thought the signal was wide. And it continues for Lowther.
We'll get another look at this one as we go to break. Hooked it.
Vernon Adams, the last time these two teams played, went deep often. 428 yards. The Moose was loose. This was a coming out party for the young receiver as well.
Yeah, it certainly was. 2 touchdowns for Damien Alford in that one. 156 yards receiving. Big chunk of Vernon Adams' production on that day.
After the missed field goal, Calgary starts at their own 40, and we've got an early penalty flag on the play. It looks like procedure against Calgary.
Procedure. Calgary number 54. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
A lot of flags early in this one. 57 yards and penalties already.
And you got to wonder a little bit about these teams maybe being overly keyed up for this one. We talked about the sense of anticipation leading up to this game. Obviously, part of that having to do with the shootout that ensued the last time these teams met in Regina. But again, the top 2 teams in the West Division.
1st and 15 for VA. The fake and the end around to Philpott. Philpott at the 40, across the 45. Close to first down yardage, maybe a yard short. 14 on the play for the Calgary receiver.
Yeah, look for the Calgary offense to lean a little bit on Jalen Philpott today. Here, getting him that ball in the run game. He's going to come from the slot up top, number 2 receiver towards the top of your screen. Lots of action in the backfield. Nice job there by Alford and Dalen Baldwin, fellow receivers leading the way.
Quincy Vaughn into the game as the short yardage quarterback. He gets 4 on the play and picks up the first down.
We'll take a look at this Calgary offense. The rookie Chris Fortin at center has a big job in dealing with a couple of veterans in that Rider defensive front. We mentioned the return of Damien Alford, the number 1 overall pick, coming back into the lineup after missing the last couple games. We talked about his production last time out against the Riders.
Getting close to midfield now. VA and his offense overcomes the early penalty to pick up the first down. Riders showing blitz, this time to give to Mills, right side across midfield before being brought down at the 52-yard line.
We'll take a look at the aforementioned Saskatchewan Roughrider defense. Shane Race really starting to find his stride from his defensive end spot. getting after opposing quarterbacks. The former Stampeder Jameer Thurman, of course, the man in the middle, one of the leaders of this unit. A little shuffle in the secondary. Marcus Sales, late scratch. Nelson Lacombo moves from safety to play the boundary corner spot. So 2 Canadian corners. Jackson Ford starts at safety.
Good gain on first down. That brings up 2nd and 4. Adams back to pass. Has a receiver open. And it is caught down to the 5-yard line. Dalen Baldwin with the reception.
Dalen Baldwin is going to start off as the inside man in this quads formation to the field. Just straight down the seam, you see he gets a jump. On the defender.
46-yard gain for Baldwin, only his 4th catch of the season. His previous long was 15, so he's taken that one and hit it out of the park as Calgary gets to the 6-yard line. Adams doesn't like what he sees. He's moving players around here. This time the give to Mills, who bounces left. Has some room, cuts inside. Touchdown, Stampeders. Dedrick Mills from 6 yards out.
Well, the production in the run game supplied by Dedrick Mills, and that offensive line has been such an important part of the success of the Calgary Stampeders this season. No surprise to see them get things rolling here. The Mills from the backfield. It's going to follow his fullback, William Longley, seals the edge. Mills ducks a shoulder, runs through a tackle, and in for the game's first major.
Rene Paredes on to attempt the PAT. The kick is up. We're waiting for a signal here. Is it good? Looks like it's good. Calgary with a 7-1 lead early in this one.
The great Miltradamus was looking for a high-scoring game. The Calgary Stampeders do their part with the game's first major early on, their first possession. Jalen Philpott, Dedrick Mills in the ground game. Dalen Baldwin comes up big. Veteran receivers Dom Rhymes and Tevin Jones out of the lineup. The newcomer Baldwin sets the table for Dedrick Mills to run it in for the game's first touchdown.
Stands with a 7-1 lead after Saskatchewan unable to even get a field goal on their first drive. Paredes with the kick deep to McCray again, who takes it at his own 16. Crosses the 30, brought down again just outside the 35, where Calgary or Saskatchewan will take over.
Well, Trevor Harris and the Saskatchewan Roughriders look to answer the score there, put up by Vernon Adams and the Calgary Stampeders. And certainly based on the last meeting between these two teams, we expect a big offensive response from the green and white.
3rd time since 2014 we've had quarterbacks above 425 yards. If we can do that again, I think we'll enjoy this one. All right, Trevor Harris looking to respond here. 1st and 10 from his own 37. This time the give to Ouellette. Breaks a few tackles before being brought down. Nice gain on first down across the 45-yard line. 8 yards for Ouellette.
Well, that's a promising sign for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, as their struggles in running the ball last time out against Calgary maybe contributed to them leaning so heavily on the passing game. A.J. Ouellette in that one, as you see him dropping the shoulder there. Ouellette held to just 9 yards on 6 carries in the first meeting of the year between these two teams.
Has 11 already in this one. Damon Webb with the tackle to prevent an even bigger gain, as Tommy Stevens comes out with the short yardage unit. The former Stampeder leans left easily, gets the first down.
Well, we asked the question this week: have you ever had a game in which you and the other quarterback have both thrown for over 400 and you lost? And we were a little surprised when he said yes. 2009 in college, Trevor Harris playing for Edinburgh University against West Liberty. That would look like a real track meet.
But he only completed 65% of his passes. That's just not good enough in the current version of Trevor Harris's world. This time Ouellette cuts back to the left side. Brought down after another good gain on first down. Pickup of 6 before being brought down by Jaden Grant.
And A.J. Ouellette looks to be in fine Ouellette form here. Getting around the edge. Low. I think he had a pretty good shot on the rookie DB Jaden Grant on that last run, but Grant doing a nice job coming up and run support to wrap him up, limit the game that time.
2nd and 4 from right at midfield for Harrison. Saskatchewan offense. Harris drops back, looks to his left, has Will Bastelli open, and it is broken up on the play. Nice defensive effort by Anthony Johnson, the player who was victimized for the pass interference earlier, makes up for it there.
Yeah, and you wonder, based on the 2 deep balls thrown by Trevor Harris early in this ball game, if they're trying to perhaps go after Johnson on the corner a little bit, or if that's just where the read has taken Trevor Harris. Robistelli with a step on Johnson on that one, but that is off the hands of the second-year Rider receiver.
He, of course, had the huge game the first time these two teams played with 191 yards. That was certainly his coming-out party. Had a chance for a big play there. Penalty flag here on the return. Kalen Horton with the return there. When we return, Vernon Adams had a fantastic game the last time these two teams played. Dave Dickinson pretty pleased with his quarterback situation right now. He identified Vernon Adams early on as the guy he wanted to bring. He got him.
The best coaches have good quarterbacks. I'm telling you the truth on that. Every great coach seems to have a great quarterback, and we feel fortunate to be has been the guy that we wanted and the guy that came in and really has led our team and been the guy that's been stirring the drink.
It was certainly stirring it the last time these two teams played. And on the first down, quick play action fake sends Mills off on the screen. Penalty flag on the play. Mills still running, getting across the 50-yard line, but I think this is coming back with an illegal block.
Yeah, you'd suspect based on the location and timing of that flag that Dedrick Mills had a little help.
Calgary number 57. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Oh, the rookie center, Christopher Fortin. Watch on the left side of your screen here. Gets caught up on the back of the defender, A.J. Allen.
Fortin really has been a good story for this Stampeder team. They lose Bryce Bell before the season even starts, who's their projected center, and the first-round draft pick has been the starter from day one of his rookie season. Long yardage situation here for VA, looking deep, looking for Clark Barnes, impeded on the play by Jackson Ford. No flags there, as that pass falls incomplete, bringing up 2nd and 20.
And Vernon Adams afforded plenty of time here. Nice protection from the offensive line, allows him to load up. Looking deep for Clark Barnes, who has emerged as a big play threat. Jackson Ford kind of maintains his position in front of the former Guelph Griffins receiver.
A lot of hand fighting by both players, and even if Dave Dickinson didn't like it, he doesn't have a challenge left.
That's right.
2nd and 20. Let's see how aggressive the Stampeders are on this play. Adams drops back to pass. Escapes to his left. Looks inside. That ball is complete, but well short of the first down. Barnes with the reception.
Yeah, Adams looking to try and make something happen here as the Riders' D line was able to break through. Well short, forcing the punt situation here.
Mark Vassett back to punt for Calgary as he's been reinserted into the lineup. Dre McCray deep to receive at his own 33-yard line for Saskatchewan. Bassett with the punt, going close to the sideline and out of bounds at the 50. Penalty flag there, so there's going to be some more yardage added on for Saskatchewan, who will have very good field position, and we will sort it out when we come back. Stampeders up by 6 late in the first quarter of this big game in the West.
Illegal punt out of bounds.
When Vernon Adams was the starting quarterback in Montreal, the Als brought in Trevor Harris. At the time, Adams felt very threatened by the move, but in hindsight, he agrees it was the best thing that could have happened to him. With more, let's go to Chantel Chang.
I had a chance to speak with Vernon Adams Jr., and he told me, yeah, Trevor Harris and I go way back. And Farhan, you mentioned it there. They were both in Montreal together. And when I talked to Vernon, he said, I learned a lot from Trevor Harris. He said he really taught me how to be a professional in this league and also just to be a quarterback. VA said that he learned how to read defenses and also how to prepare. Also that the first 5 to 6 years of his career, it was just pure athleticism that he played with. He said he gives a lot of credit to Trevor Harris on getting his career going, knowing how to play quarterback in this league, and obviously knowing how to be able to read defenses now. Also, Dave Dickinson wanted to wish his mother a very happy 80th birthday. So happy 80th birthday goes out to Sue from Dave and Craig. Farhan?
All right, Sue is happily watching her sons, both Dave and Craig, with a lead here so far in this game. And Trevor Harris throws an interception right there. Sheldon Arnold with the pick. And Calgary's cooking right now.
Yeah, Sheldon Arnold, the rookie, playing that boundary halfback spot, has been among Calgary's team leaders in terms of defensive plays this season. He's gained a lot of experience early, and it shows on this play. Watch on the outside as they look to Myers, the outside receiver. Great play by Arnold to get underneath that ball, underneath that route, and make the play.
The 6th interception of the season for Trevor Harris to go along with 16 touchdowns. Calgary will take over at their own 38-yard line. This time Adams with the fake, looking deep, but he slips, still goes deep, and that one is intercepted by Calgary, or by Saskatchewan. Roland Milligan with the interception. A throw that Vernon Adams probably wants back.
Yeah, looking to make a big play happen here as things are starting to break down in the pocket. I think when Vernon Adams looks back at this one, he'll feel like he may have tried to force one in there with a defender in his face. The always dangerous Roland Milligan comes up with the airborne INT.
And if you look on the left side of that, Damien Alford didn't have a lot of people around. Play started poorly after the slip, ended poorly, and Trevor Harris can say, okay, breathe a sigh of relief after throwing his interception. Saskatchewan takes over at the 33-yard line, this time to give to Ouellette, who bounces to his right, and he is tackled. Arnold with the receptor, with the tackle right there.
Pretty good job by the Stampeder defense that time of sort of flattening out A.J. Ouellette, forcing him to run sideways rather than getting his shoulders north-south, which is obviously his wheelhouse.
And a physical start to this game by both teams.
Yeah, and I think quite clearly what both teams want. You mentioned Corey Mace feeling like it was an out-of-character performance the first time they met.
2nd and 6 after that carry. Harris looks to his left, has a receiver. That's his first completion of the game. Del Duncan Busby with the catch. Good enough for a first down.
Here you see Duncan Busby, the second-year man. 3rd-round pick in 2024. An extended opportunity to play here. Guys like Sam Emelis, Kian Schaefer-Baker out of the lineup.
There is no foul for a face mask on the play.
One of the benefits of the replay center, because you could tell there was definitely no face mask.
Yeah, the most important thing being getting the call right. Saw Moncrief come down with the strike over the shoulder, trying to get a punch on that football. Terrific signing he has been for this Calgary Stampeder team.
Stampeders showing blitz. This time the give to Ouellette. Not much there. It's to about the 49-yard line, maybe a gain of 2. Lots of red in the area.
Well, at this point, A.J. Ouellette has as many carries already as he had in the last meeting between these two teams, that being 6. A little more success, 23 yards rather than just the 9 he was held to last time.
Needed just 2 yards in this game to get past 3,000 career yards. So that mark out of the way early. 2nd and 8. Stampeders bringing 5. Harris swings it out to Ouellette, and he is brought down by Damon Webb. No, make that Moncrief with the tackle. Great open field tackle by the veteran and former Rider.
Yeah, a lot of space out there, Moncrief. Doing a terrific job. You know, I think interesting when you look at this Calgary Stampeder defense and the construction of this unit over the course of the offseason, opening the season with basically 12 new starters on defense. But veterans, Flo Rimolade brought in on the D-line, Damon Webb on the back end, Moncrief in that linebacking play.
Big kick, almost makes it to the end zone. Let's see where they mark this one. As it goes out of bounds, they are going to call it a touchback, I believe. A 63-yard punt, which should wind up in a single point for Saskatchewan. We mentioned earlier, Chantel did, that Sue Dickinson, mother of both Dave and Craig, is turning 80 today.
Well, and I think Sue is probably a little bit relieved that when Calgary and Saskatchewan meet, that she only has to cheer for one team.
Was she one of the moms with a split jersey?
No doubt, or a split coaching cap at least.
Split golf shirt?
Yeah.
Well, Sue, happy birthday, and we're glad you're watching. We assume she's in Montana.
Yes.
Calgary at their own 42 or 40-yard line. Give again to Mills. The final stages here of the first quarter. Pickup of 3 on the play. Jameer Thurman with the tackle.
Yeah, last meeting between the teams, Mills averaging over 6 yards a pop, 14 carries for 85 yards in that ball game. Had his first 100-yard game of the season in the Stamps' last victory, that before their bye week against Winnipeg.
Final play of the first quarter coming up here. 2nd and 7. Adams to Clark Barnes, who drops it. Would have been close to the first down with a couple of yak yards, but it is not to be, and that is the final play of the first quarter. The Stampeders with a 5-point lead in this much anticipated matchup between the two West powerhouses. We'll be back with the second quarter for McMahon. Let's take a look at the stats after 15 minutes, and the 10 passing yards stands out as much as anything else to me, Dwayne.
Well, especially considering the way the last game went between these two teams. Saskatchewan having trouble running the ball in that one, relying a lot on their passing game with Trevor Harris going for over 400. Numbers a little bit skewed when you consider that they got a chunk of penalty yards. Calgary was 77 penalty yards already in this ball game. Big chunk of that on a pass interference call and a deep shot to Dante Myers on the first possession.
Trevor Harris in that offense will get the ball back here after this punt. Mark Batson with a real short punt on his first attempt that went out of bounds. Also led to an additional penalty. After that, let's see what he comes up with here. A much better kick. Taken by McRae at his own 16. 51-yard punter. Big hit. Fumble. And it is recovered by, looks like Saskatchewan got it back. The Riders avoid disaster after that big-time hit by Wilson.
Kyle Wilson, the veteran linebacker, came over from Hamilton. early this season, making his presence felt on special teams. Gets his hat right on the ball.
Is that how they still teach it? Hat right on the ball?
Not sure you're allowed to put your hat on anything anymore.
No, the game has changed, my friend. But these two teams are still finding a way to be pretty physical. The quick fake to Ouellette, the inside look to Myers, and that pass falls incomplete.
Yeah. Pressure up front, kind of closed down the passing lane for Trevor Harris, forced him to double clutch on that one. I think he missed his window of opportunity to get it out to Myers.
And remember, it's 12 straight games with at least 70% completions for Trevor Harris. He's 11-1 in those contests, and it certainly hasn't started out that way here. Harris on 2nd and 10 from inside his own red zone. Harris drops back, and he is sacked. Clarence Hicks brings down the veteran Saskatchewan quarterback, and the Riders are going to have to punt again.
Clarence Hicks, usually a defensive end. They move him around a little bit here on the inside, second defender from the top of your screen. And a guy like Hicks, who's so good off the edge, could be something of a quickness mismatch when he moves inside playing against a guard. Quick move to the inside there as Hicks finds his way home.
Yeah, Zach Fry didn't offer much resistance on that one. All right, the punt. 54-yarder taken. A move to the outside. Baldwin gets into Saskatchewan territory. Takes it to the 49-yard line. It is Clarence Hicks right up the middle with his 4th sack of the season. Calgary in opposing territory when they get the ball back. Crave's hit docuseries is back for a brand new season of exclusive insights, player interviews, and behind-the-scenes moments. The Rebuild Inside the Montreal Canadiens. Stream now on Crave. Vernon Adams and the Stampeders trying to add to their lead as they take over on Saskatchewan's 49-yard line. Some extra linemen into the game here, and Dedrick Mills is going nowhere. Malik Carney says, sorry, not happening.
I'll keep an eye. A couple of defenders over there. A.J. Allen coming from his edge position here as well, just slashing down into the backfield. Wrapping up Dedrick Mills. Blocks are going down away from Allen. Unblocked man, clear shot. He makes no mistake.
Adams pointing to himself after the play, probably thinking he should have pulled the ball there. Either way, a loss of 3. Adams 2nd and 13. This time the swing pass to Mills again. Beats the first man, has the first down, and run out of bounds at around the 25, call it the 36-yard line, but a first down and the gain of 16 by Mills.
Yeah, and watch the acceleration here from Dedrick Mills. Starts off in the backfield. He's going to release as they try to get the blockers out in front of him on the screen. May have gotten away with a little bit of a hold there. I believe Dalen Baldwin was the receiver out in front. They just delayed Jameer Thurman's ability to get there. Nice burst from Dedrick Mills.
Stampeders in field goal range with a first down at their own 36. Extra receivers to the short side of the field. Adams has an open man. That is Baldwin again. Big gain on the play. Gets down to about the 10-yard line. Call it the 8. Gain of 28 for the Stampeders, and they are knocking on the door.
And keep an eye here, Dalen Baldwin. Number 3 receiver again, this time going quads into the boundary. And watch how he ends up wide open. The uncovered man, easy read for Vernon Adams. Baldwin going to be an important guy for Calgary in this game. We've seen a couple of big catches already, but veterans, Dom Rhymes, Tevin Jones, not only veterans, but guys who provide some size in that receiving core are out of the lineup. They look for Baldwin to fill that role a little bit.
Baldwin, again, as we mentioned, only had 3 catches coming into this one. That time it's Philpott close to the goal line. And they call it a touchdown. Jalen Philpott with the touchdown. Potentially his first of the season. I'm sure they're going to take a look at it. Let's see if it stands or not.
Yeah, Philpott coming across the formation, has that free release into the flat. You see Jackson Ford in pursuit, trips him up. And that ball looks like it is actually broken the front plane of the goal line before Philpott hits the ground.
Looks like it's going to count. You can see him do a great job of keeping his legs up in the air while the ball stretched across. Again, the first touchdown of the season for Jalen Philpott. Rene Paredes with the kick, and the Stampeders with a 14-2 lead courtesy of the big stretch by Jalen Philpott.
It looks like a subtle thing at the end of this, but watch the effort that Jalen Philpott makes to get to the end zone. Gets the left hand down, pushes off that right leg, manages to keep himself airborne just long enough to get across the goal line. Watch his shadow on this one, as you can see that he stays in the air until the ball has broken the plane of that goal line. Awesome shot.
It's giving me nightmares and flashbacks to my days coaching at New Westminster when the Philpott boys at Seattle High School would make crazy athletic plays just like that. All right, this time it is Myers taking the ball from his own 5-yard line, gets left. Not much there before being run out of bounds just across his own 30, where the Riders are going to try to get something going offensively. Did you expect this much of a one-sided game to this point?
It's early, and if you remember, Calgary had some turnovers in the first game, but they seem like the team that, despite that, was able to kind of get things going first, and then Saskatchewan got their offense going. You just anticipate playing against Trevor Harris and company. At some point, Saskatchewan's going to have some big plays.
Harris still looking for his first of those. Starts at his own 32. The give to Ouellette. He barrels forward for a couple. And I think this is the point here. It would be at this stage in the last game where they got away from Ouellette. And they're just not going to do that at this time.
No, they're absolutely committed to it. But nonetheless, they feel pretty good throwing the ball when they've got this guy at the controls. Look at the numbers for Trevor Harris in his last 12 starts. 11-1, the completion percentage that has always been such a big part of Trevor Harris's game. But that completion percentage, he's added the long ball element to it. And by the way, at age 39.
Came into this game tied with Vernon Adams for the most deep completions in the league. Each of them had 19. That one incomplete. Was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Tommy Neal can't come up with it as the ball just died after getting tipped. And second 2-and-out for the Riders.
And Jalen Hutchins continues to be a concern for opposing offenses from his D tackle spot. Gets a piece of that one. That impacts the trajectory of the football. Good effort from Tommy Neal, but unable to get his hands underneath it.
Joe Couch back to punt again for Saskatchewan. Baldwin deep to receive. Endover in punt. Horton, I should say, back for this one. Kalen Horton with the return to his own 37-yard line. We'll come back to Calgary. The Stampeders have the ball. Getting ready for MLS action as the Whitecaps take on St. Louis SC. Tune in tonight at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on TSN and what is expected to be Thomas Muller's debut. Did I say that right? The Whitecaps German sensation.
I know there's been a lot of hype.
There has.
Looking forward to his arrival here in MLS.
So my son, who's a quarter German, tells me he's a German soccer fan, and he actually had a Mueller jersey. I was shocked when I found this out. Thought he was just a quarterback. This time Mills right up the middle. A bunch of Riders are right there to limit the gain to just 1 yard.
You tell Luke Lulgy there is only one kind of football he needs to worry about.
Absolutely. We've said that many times in our home. Even Mueller himself said that I don't play football anymore, I play soccer. So full marks to him for understanding.
Yes.
Our producer John Hines is a pretty big German soccer fan himself.
Big on the Bundesliga.
Yeah, pulling out the German soccer Gerhard Mueller references from the 60s. Adams on 2nd and 9, drops back to pass, has Alford for the reception. Not going to get the first down, though. Good defensive play. Allen, among others, rally to the Moose.
And you can just see the approach for Saskatchewan defensively in that 2nd and long situation. Get back into their zones. Try to keep everything in front of them, come forward, make tackles, as they did on Alford on that one.
Stampeders with their 3rd 2-and-out of the game. Important defensive sequence for Saskatchewan to stay within 2 scores. All right, Bassett with the punt, end over end. 50-yarder taken by Myers at his own 18, breaks the first tackle, but brought down. Scott again with his 3rd special teams tackle of the game. You know, we talk about Vernon Adams being the straw that stirs the drink offensively. The guy they brought in on defense to do that was Flo Arimolade. With more on his story, here's Chantel.
Yeah, so I had a chance to speak with Flo earlier, and we talked about how this defense has a new energy and a new vibe. He said even though there's a lot of new pieces, we have unbelievable chemistry. And he talked about some of the guys like Jalen Hutchins. He said this guy is an absolute superstar, and he's going to be a great professional in this league for quite some time. He also gave props to Jacob Roberts. Flo told me he plays with the physicality of a linebacker that you don't see as much anymore, and that's what their defense needed. Flo also mentioned to me that he feels like because they brought in a lot of guys that love football, the culture did change. But Dave Dickinson told me it wasn't really about the culture. They just wanted guys that love football.
Holding.
Forehand.
Saskatchewan number 41.
And Chantel, and that defense is certainly living up to it.
Repeat, first down.
10-yard penalty takes away a nice diving reception by Dante Myers, which would have been the first big play of the game for Saskatchewan's offense.
And you'll see the hold on Flo Arimolade as he's trying to get free of the fullback there, Albert Awashe. Flo ready to protest, but he already saw the flag on the ground. No need to state his case.
Arimolade brought over this offseason in a trade involving Cam Judge, popular player here in Calgary as well. But happy to be back in Cowtown. 1st and 20 now for Saskatchewan. Harris finds Myers again. Nice gain on the play before being brought down. Still about 4 yards short of the first down, but they get a big chunk of that penalty yardage back.
Yep. Big play, nice catch there from Dante Myers. But let's talk a little more about this Calgary Stampeder defense and some of the decisions that were made in the offseason. We've talked a little bit about Jalen Hutchins and his impact at defensive tackle. Jacob Roberts coming in at the will linebacker position, the veteran Derek Moncrief. Adrian Green out of the lineup today, but leading the way with 4 sacks after coming over from BC to play that field corner spot.
When you look at Roberts, he wasn't even a starter until the 3rd game of the season, so racking up numbers at an impressive rate. This time Harris steps up into the pocket. He's going to take off, put his head down, and get the first down. Should you be doing that at 39 years of age?
Well, Trevor's doing a lot of things people might suggest he shouldn't be doing at 39 years of age. Here, just trying to do whatever he can to help his team win. But one of the statistics that stood out to me from the first meeting between these two teams was that the Calgary Stampeders had 3 sacks in that football game. That's the only game, obviously, that Saskatchewan has lost this year. Also, the only game this year in which the Riders have given up more than 1 sack. So this pressure piece for the Calgary Stampeders has served them well.
Stampeders showing blitz here. Harris steps inside of it, has a receiver. It's Johnson. Cuts back inside, across the 40. He's got some room across the 30, across the 20. Can he stay on his feet and run down inside the 10-yard line before being knocked out of bounds by Webb? A huge gain for Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding effort here from Keyshawn Johnson. Starts off out wide on the left. Watch him work across the formation. And just knows to throttle down in space. Don't run through the zone. Throttle down. Give your quarterback an opportunity to find you. And just a tremendous effort after the catch from the former Fresno State star.
Gain of 62 yards on that play takes Saskatchewan to the 8-yard line of Calgary, their deepest penetration of the night. They're going to want to finish with a touchdown after missing a field goal the last time. A.J. Oled runs left. Not much there. Maybe a yard on the play before being cut. They'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 7. Roberts with the tackle.
And a pretty good physical matchup between Jacob Roberts. There's your weak side linebacker, number 48. And A.J. Oled. Chantal mentioned earlier, Phil Rimolade describes him as a little different kind of linebacker. This is a downhill guy.
2nd and 7. Harris drops back, looks inside, has a receiver for the touchdown, Dante Myers. Myers leads all Riders. That is his 6th touchdown of the season, and man, did the Riders need that.
Well, they sure did. Came back with authority on this drive. Keyshawn Johnson supplying the big play on that one. Dante Myers finishing it off.
We mentioned the impact that Myers has made this season with 3 games of over 125 yards. Let's see if he can get close to that number here. Lowry, who missed an easy field goal earlier, easy for me to say, I'm not having it, but a makeable field goal based on distance, nails the convert right there.
And here we'll take a look at the touchdown pass to Dante Myers. Working back to the football. Presenting a target for his quarterback, Trevor Harris, who has his team's first major of the game.
That caps a 6-play, 81-yard drive, took 3:27. Of course, the big play was the 62-yard completion by Johnson to take that down to the 8-yard line. That cuts the lead to 5 with 4.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Kalen Horton deep to receive for Calgary. You also can't forget the 5-yard run by Harris where he put his head down to get the first down on 2nd and 4. Lowther kicking deep. This time it's Mills with the return. Gets across the 30-yard line before being brought down. Make that gesture and entry with the return.
We'll take a quick look back at the touchdown pass. Keep an eye on Dante Myers. He's just going to come wrap around the defender, so he goes by him. Sort of gets out of his sight. Wraps back into the hole here. Defender passes him up. He's picked up by the outside man, but he's just got position on him. Come on. Easy pitch and catch for Trevor Harris.
Adams looking to answer Harris's touchdown from his own 31-yard line. The speed sweep goes to Jalen Philpott. Picks up around 5 yards before being brought down. His 2nd carry of the game to go along with the touchdown earlier.
And Philpott, 4th-year man, becomes the senior member of the receiving corps. With the injuries that the Stamps have dealt with, both long-term and shorter term here. Obviously, Reggie Begelton injured early in the season on that 6-game injured list. Tevin Jones and Dominique Grimes both out for this game.
Dave Dickinson telling us that Begelton and Malik Henry are not ruled out for the season. 2nd and 4, Mills gets blown up. Devon Campbell with the big hit. Prevents Saskatchewan or prevents Calgary from getting the first down. We do have penalty flags on the play.
Devon Campbell, 26 on 26 play. Not a guy who's necessarily known as a big
Offside.
hitter.
Calgary number 86. That penalty is declined. It'll be 3rd down.
But Campbell brought it there. Just as Mills pulls in the ball. Shoulder to shoulder.
Mills is no easy player to knock around like that, but the 4th 2 and out for Calgary. And remember, Devon Campbell did not play in the earlier meeting between these two teams.
Yeah, Campbell originally actually a Calgary Stampeder draft pick. 22nd overall back in 2015.
Bassett with the punt. 58-yard punt. Myers takes it inside his 15 before being tripped up and knocked out of bounds at around the 25-yard line. We're inside of 3 minutes. When we come back, it is Saskatchewan looking to build on their touchdown the last time out.
Has anyone seen Milt?
Okay, look down there.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Superhero in the
He is taking this Miltradamus thing way
too far. Oh, it's not that. Can he do that?
Well, the many talents of Miltradamus.
Wow, and he gets to name himself that. Not many people get to come up with a nickname like that for themselves. It's like the big Aristotle.
Yes.
Jack coined that himself. Milt can do this. He said before the game, if Saskatchewan won this game and the next game, that they would win the West. Now, I don't know about you.
I don't know if that's going out on a limb.
That's not bold.
Yeah.
Sorry, Milt, that's not bold.
We're gonna need something a little more.
I think if Saskatchewan wins this game, they're going to win the West. Because they'll have a 3-game lead on Calgary at that point.
Now, do you need a catchy nickname, too, to make predictions, or are you good?
No. Yeah, if I want a nickname, I'll come up with it. The quick out to Robistelli, close to first down yardage. Let's see where they mark it. Looks like he's got it. 10-yard gain. His first catch of the game. Remember, he had 191 yards the last time these two teams played.
Joe Robistelli played just 1 year of college football.
5 games at Tusculum.
Yes.
After being a flag football legend.
That tore it up in the intramural flag football at Florida State University.
We could get him citizenship. Lapo might want to recruit him.
That's right.
This time the play fake inside to Johnson, bobbles it, but catches it, and should have a first down before being brought down by Grant. Looks like Trevor's slowly starting to heat up.
Yeah, we said it earlier. You knew he'd eventually find his way. Johnson coming out of the slot here. Little bobble there. Keyshawn Johnson, who had that terrific catch and run to set up the Saskatchewan touchdown in this ball game.
Back-to-back first downs. Calgary showing blitz. They might have gotten there a little early. It's Ouellette with the carry, fighting for it, not going to get the first down. So an interesting decision here. If it is offside, 1st and 5 or 2nd and 3.
Offside. Calgary number 6. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a 2nd down.
Gain of 8 on the run is going to bring up 2nd and 2.
A.J. Ouellette It's up in the line, then bounces it to the outside, switches that ball to the outside hand, protecting it from pursuit. 10 carries, 45 yards for Ouellette already. That perhaps the biggest difference between this game and the last one.
Harris dropping back to pass. Looks deep to Johnson, who has it inside the 20-yard line. Harris is definitely heating up, and Johnson seems to be his go-to guy right now. Gain of 25 on that play.
Yeah, Johnson working out of the slot here. And hitting that waggle with speed, little break to the outside. Quick separation, just using his waggle well there. Good get off Johnson, terrific find for the Saskatchewan Roughriders a year ago. Former NFL 6th-round pick of the Arizona Cardinals.
6th straight completion for Harris, looking for 7, but that's behind Robustelli. Going back to Johnson, he came into the game leading the league in second down receptions with 24. That one on 2nd and 2 moved the chains.
Yeah, he's, as mentioned, has been so important to this team. I mean, to imagine all the changes in the receiving core for this group, whether by departure or injury. But still, Johnson, Myers stepping up. 5th and 7th in the league in receiving coming into this week.
2nd and 10, the handoff to Ouellette on the draw. Cuts to his right and should have the first down. A.J. Ouellette on 2nd and 10 gets just enough. Certainly surprised Calgary's defense there.
Well, Saskatchewan may be taking advantage of the alignment of this Calgary defensive line. If you look at the spacing of the 4 guys up front, a great opportunity for Saskatchewan to run that draw play to A.J. Ouellette.
First and goal for Saskatchewan, looking to take their first lead of the game. Actually, they did lead 1-0 at one point. But can they get a second straight touchdown drive? They can. Duncan Busby from 10 yards out, and the Riders have the lead.
The patience and precision of Trevor Harris is what stands out on this play. Good protection up front. Gets through his reads quickly, spots Duncan Busby on the outside. Gets it to him out wide. The Riders are rolling.
And with 53 seconds left, they're going to go for 2 to try to extend their lead to 3 points. 53 seconds left in the half, of course. But yeah, for a quarter and a half, the Riders' offense was quiet. But these last 2 drives, they've certainly turned it on. This time to give to Ouellette, and nothing there. Stampeders stop him. And the lead remains at 1. Del Duncan Busby, a player that Trevor Harris told us earlier this week, is really ascending and getting better in a hurry.
Yeah, these young guys, again, we'll talk a little bit about the injuries in the receiving core. Duncan Busby out wide on this one. You see the corner starting to drop out, so he's just going to sit, bounce it to the outside, away from Moncrief, who's pursuing from in the box. Easy read for Trevor Harris. Duncan Busby, as you said, climbing the ladder here.
His 2nd touchdown of the season, 3rd-round pick in the 2024 draft.
You know, you consider Sam Emelis being hurt. He's had just 20 catches this year. Kian Schaefer-Baker, Sean Bain, neither with a catch this season before being injured. Jareth Stearns moved on, and Joe to the NFL. But Saskatchewan doing a great job finding and developing other receivers who have been ready to step up this season.
Tommy Neal also giving them depth as far as Canadians are concerned. Horton with the return out to the 30-yard line, where Calgary will look to get some points back on the board, maybe go into the half with a lead. 47 seconds left here from their own 31. And you know, VA, he's not afraid to throw it deep. From time to time, he's been known to do that.
That may have led to a nickname along the way. Big play VA. Looking for one here before the break.
Mills resets to the left of him. Adams drops back the pass. Pass over the middle, and it is dropped. Eric Brooks with the drop.
And this may be a situation where Brooks was starting to take stock of the white jerseys around him before securing that football, knowing Jackson Ford's coming downhill on him from that safety spot. Wants to get his head around and get that upfield.
2nd and 10. Let's see if the Stampeders can convert here, as the momentum seems to have shifted back to Saskatchewan. Riders only bringing 4, and this time the pass slightly behind Philpott, who can't come up with it. That is the 5th 2-and-out for Calgary, who had a 14-2 lead earlier in this quarter.
As mentioned, Philpott working towards the inside, ball thrown just a little bit too far to the outside. He was unable to adjust to make a grab on that one.
Still time left for Saskatchewan when they get the ball back here. 37 seconds to go. They'll probably get it back with just inside 30. A chance for maybe as many as 3 plays. Bassett with the kick. Nice kick, takes it to the sidelines. A 64-yarder. Myers looking for some room, doesn't have much. Bounces to the right and stumbles just outside his own 20-yard line and ate up a lot of time doing it, as the Riders will take over with just 23 seconds left and a long way to go.
I suspect, given the field position, Trevor Harris and the Riders look to do what they can to get out of this half, protecting the football. But, I mean, who knows, given the way Trevor heated up in the second quarter. 141 yards through the air in quarter number 2 after just 10 in the opening 15 minutes. Maybe he'll look to keep that hot streak alive.
Let's see what approach they take here. If they're content to go into the half with the lead, the handoff to A.J. Ouellette would indicate that they are. Harris with 151 yards in this half, most of that coming in the second quarter. 141 of those yards coming here in the second quarter, along with a couple of touchdown passes.
Well, we said it early on. You knew eventually Trevor Harris and that offense would get going a little bit. You just try to contain them as best as you can when you're the Stampeders.
Harris will take a knee, and that is the final play of the second quarter in a back-and-forth game, as we anticipated, between 2 heavyweights in the West. The Riders will go into the break with a 1-point lead, and a couple of big plays by Keyshawn Johnson really got the Riders going.
Yeah, Keyshawn Johnson, Riders' leading receiver, coming into this ball game, 5th in the league coming into this week. And he proves to be one of the catalysts in the passing game. Again, terrific run after the catch there. Set up Saskatchewan's first touchdown. Goes and gets that one down the sidelines. Another big gain for Keyshawn Johnson, who now joins Chantel on the sidelines.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, it was a game where it started with a drop by Keyshawn Johnson in the end zone.
Yeah.
So he certainly made up for that and has really helped propel his team, and he is standing by on the sidelines now with Chantel.
Keyshawn, you made some big catches as now your team has a momentum heading into the second half. When you guys were going through that slow stretch offensively, what was being said on the sidelines?
Nothing for me. I started it. I started the slow stretch, dropped the pass in the end zone to get it started. And we got to go out there and execute what our coach calls, and that's all we got to do. We got to keep the momentum rolling.
It's a close game, and I'm sure you guys expected that 1 point. What's going to be the difference in the second half?
Executing. You know what I mean? Go out there, play by play, and do our assignments to our best ability.
Appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you.
Let's get you back to Kate Burness and the rest of the CFL panel.
Chantel, it's all quiet here now at BMO Field, but we had a phenomenal first game. We saw the Toronto Argonauts put up 52 points. That was a great game, and guess what? This one's shaping up to be a great game, too. All of a sudden, it's a 1-point football game. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Dave Naylor, and the great Miltradamus.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you really fortune tell people down there?
Oh, yeah, and I
Did
was on
people
point.
pay money for that?
Bill, you can get sued for that.
No, there was no money involved.
Got a
All right,
sideline, Bill.
let's go to Trevor Harris. And look, for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I mean, we were watching the beginning of this game, and we're like, what has happened to Trevor Harris? I mean, this is not what we're used to seeing. But man, did he ever pick it up in this one. 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that second quarter was a completely different Trevor, the one we're used to seeing so far, Dave.
Yeah, it was really a tale of 2 quarters for Trevor Harris. And he comes into this game with a rare distinction for a quarterback. He has the highest completion percentage in the league and also leads the league in explosive throws, over 30 yards. A lot of times when you see that high completion percentage, it's because the guy is dinking and dunking down the field, but that's not what Trevor Harris has been doing. And he tried to go to that deep ball early in the game, finds Dante Myers wide open, and he gets a drop, and they end up with a missed field goal. He goes later to Robistelli. This one has gotten broken up, but this has been bread and butter for Trevor Harris this year, and then he turns into an interception when he tries to go back to Myers, gets picked off by Sheldon Arnold. I'll tell you what starts to loosen up the game for him a little bit. When things weren't getting on track for him throwing the deep ball, they got the explosive play on a yards after catch play from Keyshawn Johnson. And that's one of the things that really separates Keyshawn Johnson from other receivers in this league is the yards after catch. This got the offense going. From this point on, Trevor Harris starts to get some rhythm. They punch in a couple touchdowns. All of a sudden, the first quarter is forgotten.
Yeah, 10 yards passing in the first quarter, 140 in the second quarter. And that's great to see. And it's also great to see that running game is going because they know Trevor Harris is not going to be on every single game. And when you have a running back like A.J. Arlette, you know you have someone back there that's dependable that can get going behind that offensive line. It was good to see him going in that first half. We know playing in Saskatchewan and Regina is going to get cold, and you're going to need him when those bad weather games come in when you can't throw the ball all the time. So A.J. Arlette going, Trevor Harris going. It's difficult to beat this team when they have those 2 facets of the game going. So good for Trevor Harris and also good for A.J. Arlette.
Football is so funny, especially in the CFL, just how fast the momentum can switch. I mean, Calgary comes out red hot in this one, and Vernon Adams kind of doing the opposite of Trevor Harris there. I mean, he's got the 119, he's got the 1 TD, but he also has the 1 INT, and it almost seems like Saski's defense was settling in at that point. So it's been interesting seeing both sides of this.
That's right, kid. He started hot and started slowing down a little bit, but the temptation is to try to match fire with fire and try to have the explosive plays that you're talking about, Dave, because everybody knows, like you mentioned, this is a high-powered offense. And so when he does step outside of the game plan, step outside of himself and tries to just match what the offense from the Saskatchewan Roughriders are doing, then this is the type of stuff that happens. This happened right after Trevor Harris threw the interception. So you're thinking, hey, we're going to march down, get some points out of this. And this is what happened. And again, Vernon Adams is going to take him just playing within himself, playing within the game plan, getting Mills involved as well, because he's going to play a huge role down the stretch here. Again, most of the first half, the Calgary Stampeders were leading this game until obviously Trevor Harris got into the game. But Vernon Adams Jr. is going to have to relax, play within himself, and really play within the game plan.
Once again, Brett Lauder is struggling.
Yeah,
and I hate to bring that up, but
you have to.
We have to talk about it. Are they going to give him more? Of course, they're going to give him more opportunities in his game to see if he can get it done. But right now, it's a mental thing. We know he can do it physically, but mentally right now, he's destroyed. So let's see how this happens.
They brought in an American kicker this week, and usually once they bring in that kicker, the kicker will get sort of one more week to show that he can reverse the direction and things are going. going. It didn't start off very well for him with that chip shot missed field goal to open the game. Yeah.
And the tough part is it's not that he doesn't possess the skill, but now it's in his head.
Yep.
Now it's in his head.
And you know what the worst part is, too? I mean, we know in the CFL, I mean, there's some guys that are just so likable. Brett Lawther is one of those guys, but unfortunately, I think the runway is a little out of time. And look, this is a Grey Cup caliber team. They've got to fix it. It is 1-point football game. We got a good one going on in Calgary. As promised, recapping week number 12 in the CFL, Blue Bombers Alouettes, third string QB James Morgan under center. Second quarter action, gonna chuck one deep, picked off by Evan Holm Morgan, 198 yards with a TD and 2 picks in his first start. Fourth quarter action, Bombers up by 3, Brady Oliveira. A great second effort, touchdown, the reigning MOP, 137 yards rushing, 73 yards receiving, both the team high, as the Bombers take it 26-13, your final. Little Friday night football action, Elks and Red Blacks. Second quarter action, Elks up by 10. Ottawa hunting to Javon Leake. He's going to work his way through, flies by pretty much everyone. The Leaqualizer absolutely gone. Leake with an 80-yard return touchdown. He had no punts taken to the house in 2024. He's already got 2 this season. The Elks win their 3rd straight game. Cody Fajardo, the first Elks QB to win 3 straight since Mike Riley did it back in 2018. Edmonton wins 30-20, your final. And earlier today, Lions taking on the Argonauts. Fourth quarter action, Argos up by 11. Nick Arbuckle, what a game he had. Deep shot to Jake Herslow. He breaks free. It's an 80-yard TD. Arbuckle, a career high, 430 pass yards, paired with 3 TDs. Herslow caught 149 of those yards along with 2 scores as the Argonauts take it. They put up 52 points. So that was a wrap of this week, but guess what? It keeps going in the CFL. Week 13 ahead now. Blue Bombers taking on the Roughriders. I mean, the gifts just keep on giving. The Argonauts then taking on the Tiger Cats. And it all wraps up on Monday with the Elks and the Stampeders. Now, guess what? You know when a segment is good on this show? When we see the signs in the crowd. What's this?
Straight fire!
Kudos to this incredible fan making an incredible sign.
Well done.
Back to Calgary after this.
Let's take a look at the halftime stats here, Dwayne. Saskatchewan doubling up Calgary in first downs 12-6, and things really changed in the second quarter. With more on how the Stamps can do to respond, let's send it down to the field and check in with Chantel, who's with the man who scored their last touchdown.
Jalen, you made an incredible touchdown pass. You look like Air Jalen at that moment. Walk me through that.
Yeah, you know, I just heard the play call in the huddle. You know, we've executed in practice all week, so just know when I get the ball near the end zone, try to punch it in. You know, Diedrich got too many touchdowns from me getting down on the 1-yard line, so just happy to get the first one this year.
You guys got off to a great start offensively. That kind of slowed down, especially in the second quarter with a few 2-and-outs. What was the message in the locker room?
Yeah, you know, just play Stampeder football at the end of the day. You know, it's a close game out here. We knew what it was going to be, you know. It's just going to be a dogfight. It's going to go down to probably the last minute or last possession of the game, so just keep battling, keep swinging, and just keep making plays whenever the ball comes our way.
Good luck in the second half.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Philpott had a pretty good impact in the first half of that game. We'll see how much more he gets here, but what have you seen differently from Calgary as they get set to take the opening kickoff here in the second quarter that maybe we didn't see in the first?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that stood out in the first, obviously, was their ability, I thought, to get after Trevor Harris a little bit, put some pressure on in the passing game, but Saskatchewan doing a pretty good job getting things picked up, giving Trevor time to go to work.
Lather with the kickoff. Antwi takes it at his own 20, out across the 35-yard line before being brought down. Let's take a look at Vernon Adams in his halftime performance.
Yeah, Vernon Adams and the Calgary offense got things going early. A couple big completions in the ball game to newcomer Dalen Baldwin, playing his second game. And obviously, We mentioned Jalen Philpott, who will be a focal point offensively for the Stampeders.
Adams this time with the give to Mills. He goes left, brought down C.J. Rivas with the tackle after a gain of only 1. And when you look at the rushing attacks of these two players, it seems like the script has been flipped since the earlier game when Mills had the big game. Ouellette was quiet. It's gone the other way now.
Yeah, Mills 85 rushing yards in that first game. Ouellette held to just 9. Saskatchewan, though, doing a pretty good job running the football. No biggies from Ouellette yet, but just consistently getting positive yardage out of their running back.
7 carries for 14 yards for Mills. Brings up 2nd and 9. Alfred takes the pass on the check down, breaks 1 tackle. It's good enough for a first down and a late penalty flag on the play. We've got Joshua Coker celebrating, so maybe some late activity on the part of Shane Ray and the Riders.
And we'll keep an eye as well. Watch Micah Johnson from his D tackle spot. Going to dent that pocket. VA steps up. Finds Alfred on that crosser.
15-yard misconduct penalty. Saskatchewan number 5. First down.
It was, in fact, Shane Ray who goes to the sideline for a little bit of time, as they would say in Slapshot, to feel shame. Pickup of 27 on that play, the 12-yard reception plus the 15 on top. Takes Calgary to Saskatchewan's 44-yard line. This time, Mills again has some room. Gets out across the 35-yard line, close to the 30, gain of 13 on the play. His best run of the afternoon.
Yeah, and let's take a look at this from Dedrick Mills' point of view. See how the blocking shapes up front here. Receivers coming down. There you see great gap. Easy read, nice cut for Dedrick Mills, taking it back to the inside. Nice execution there for the Stampeders.
1st and 10 from the 31. Stampeders give it to Mills again, who breaks a couple of tackles inside the 20, across the 15, down to the 10-yard line. Saskatchewan brought the blitz. Mills made them pay with a gain of 21.
Well, looks like you ticked off the Stampeder offensive line a little bit, Farhan, when you suggested they were having trouble running the ball. They didn't like those first half statistics. Look at the work by Zach Williams at the left guard.
The 3rd time in the red zone now for Calgary. They're 2 for 2. And I'm not going to jinx him here when I tell you that Vernon Adams just does not turn the ball over in the red zone.
I think he was even a little surprised by his own red zone stats when you revealed them to him this week.
Adams pulls the ball, looking into the end zone. Has a receiver, catches it, touchdown! That is Dalen Baldwin with the reception right along the sideline. Bobbled it, but gained control before he went out of bounds, and the Stampeders are back in front.
I mentioned earlier the size of Dalen Baldwin, and this is a part of a Vernon Adams offense. When you think of some of the receivers he's had success with over his career, that ability to put the ball up and let his guys win battles for the ball. This time, Dalen Baldwin, 6'2", 230 pounds. Gets position, goes up and gets that football.
5-play, 72-yard drive. That's how you open the second half. We've talked about his stats. In his entire career, Vernon Adams is now responsible for 90 touchdowns in the red zone and only 4 turnovers. Perfect pass, perfect spot. The reception made, and Calgary makes the home crowd happy.
Well, you heard Jalen Philpott tell Chantel it was all about coming out and playing Stampeder football to kick off this second half. The offense certainly seemed to get the message loud and clear. A couple of big runs from Dedrick Mills. Damien Alford chipping in with a catch. Dalen Baldwin having himself a day, caps it off with his first career CFL touchdown.
Mills with 35 yards rushing on that drive, so he's certainly making a statement here to open the second half. And Baldwin, his first CFL touchdown. Been called on to do more with Tevin Jones out of the lineup. With Dom Rhymes out of the lineup, and he's living up to it. Beretta's with the kickoff. Taken by Myers inside his own 5-yard line. Myers across the 20, across the 30. Myers with some room before being brought down outside the 45-yard line. Great return for the Rider receiver, where Saskatchewan takes over 1st and 10. Call it the 47.
For Trevor Harris, it was a tale of two quarters. The Riders with some miscues. He struggled to get the passing game going in the opening 15 minutes, but Harris roaring back in the second quarter, 141 yards through the air in the quarter, including touchdown passes to Dante Myers, Del Duncan Busby.
Completion percentage now up to 60 and counting. This time the quick fake. Harris looks to his left. The ball falls incomplete short. Not sure if he was hit as he threw. Flo Ermolade with the pressure right here.
Flo working against fellow veteran Jamarcus Hardrick. That spin to the inside puts him in perfect position as Harris is stepping up in the middle of the pocket.
That's what they did more of in the first quarter. You mentioned coming out at halftime is can they pressure Harris as effectively as they did there. That brings up a 2nd and 10. Harris drops back. Hicks is there for the sack.
A second of the game for Clarence Hicks. Number 5 on the season. He's been among the top players in the league in terms of quarterback pressures all season long, coming from the top of your screen, defensive right. This nice rip move there to get underneath the arms of the tackle, underneath the punch of Peyton Collins.
Collins barely touched him on that play. He was so quick off the ball. Penalty flag on the play. Looks like that could be offside against Calgary. End over end punt. Lands at the 22. Bounces back towards the Riders, where it's picked up. Keelan Horton with the short return. Let's see what Saskatchewan decides to do here if they want them to kick again. Always a debate here. You don't want to have your team who just ran down to cover a kick go out there and cover another one.
Offside. Calgary number 45. That penalty is declined. First down.
When we come back, Calgary will have the ball at their own 30-yard line. Touchdown on their last drive. Here's Jameer Thurman getting into it. The Tour Championship continues tomorrow with final round action. Coverage gets underway at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on TSN+. Jameer Thurman getting away with one on that last punt cover situation for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, a little exchange there, and injuries continue in the Riders secondary as Nelson Lacombo has left the game with a lower body injury, so Kervala Exume is coming in at the boundary corner spot. Devon Campbell has moved from from field corner to boundary corner. Exume is at field corner.
And we know that Marcus Sales was a late scratch due to an illness. Deep shot to Alford, and that pass is broken up.
And terrific recovery on the play. Stampeders recognizing the substitution that was made. They decide to test Exume right away. Damien Alford gets in behind him, but watch the recovery here by Kerfola Exume. Closing ground, getting the right hand in there to bat that ball free.
Big size mismatch there too, but he was able to get up and still make the play.
Exume has made his reputation in this league as a special teams player primarily, but getting an opportunity here on defense from the Montreal Carabins.
2nd and 10 for Adams as he checks it down to Mills. Close to first down yardage. He's going to come up a yard short. Let's see what they do here on 3rd and a long 1.
Dedrick Mills is imploring the sideline to go for it, and that's what they're going to do. Quincy Vaughn and some of his short yardage friends make their way into the huddle.
Dickinson talked about one of the turning points in the last game was Saskatchewan in these situations going for it a few times and not making it.
Yeah.
And the difference that made. Let's see if the tables get turned here or if Calgary can convert. Quincy already with 1 3rd and short conversion. This time he goes to his right. The big body falls forward. It's going to be close. I'm not sure, based on that official coming down the line, that he's going to have enough there.
Yeah, there didn't seem to be a lot of obvious forward movement from the Calgary Stampeders on that one. It's a tough Saskatchewan defensive line.
Wow. And they give them the first down.
We'll take another look here.
Second effort maybe got him there.
Yeah. Yeah, Vaughn, a big body who is they're taking over the Tommy Stevens role. Stevens, of course, now a Saskatchewan Roughrider.
Upon second look, that was a pretty good spot. First down at the 40-yard line for Calgary. This time the give to Mills right up the middle. C.J. Rivas and others right there to stop him. Gain of 3 on the play. This is as Calgary looks to continue to reestablish the run, which wasn't there in the first half.
Yeah, Dedrick Mills, you know, we obviously with the Calgary offense talk a lot about the impact of Vernon Adams Jr. since he came over from BC in an off-season trade. But Dedrick Mills and the ground game are so important to Calgary's identity. Dave Dickinson, where a lot of teams have gone to the short passing game instead of running the ball a lot. He wants his offensive line to be able to go forward and be physical.
Saskatchewan showing blitz. This time the pass is complete. That's Eric Brooks with the reception. VA just put this on a rope.
Eric Brooks, another of the young receivers, being leaned on a little bit more here for the Stampeders. And you see the foot out of bounds as he tried to juke DeMarcus Fields.
18-yard gain to the Saskatchewan 49-yard line on a first down. Vernon looking to throw it quick. This one batted up into the air, intercepted. Jameer Thurman has it. And a late flag coming in on the play. I think that's after the interception. Unfortunate for Vernon Adams with the deflection there, but Saskatchewan in business.
Big play at the line of scrimmage leads to the turnover. The veteran, Jameer Thurman, the INT.
Adams with his second interception of the game.
Keep an eye here, Malik Carney. It's the offensive
Major
line.
foul, unnecessary roughness. Saskatchewan, number 42, after the interception. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Mike Rose, the guilty party. When we come back, Saskatchewan will have the ball a little deeper than they would have liked. Let's see what they do with it when we return.
We'll take a look at the knockdown here from Malik Carney. It's a screen type concept for Calgary where basically they're going to block for a second, push those rushers upfield. But keep an eye on Vernon Adams here as he goes to try and get in on the play. Mike Rose right behind him, number 42. You can see as soon as Rose made contact, there was sort of a reaction as, you know, that he realized what he had done, almost tried to hold back on it.
AJ Oled bounces to his left before being brought down. Gain of about 4 on the play. Maybe 5. And you know from Mike Rose there is some emotion coming back here to Calgary where he spent the first 7 years of his career.
Yeah, and Mike Rose, obviously a very productive player during his time in Calgary, but as the Stampeders looked basically just to change things up on defense, right? Like there are a lot of good players that left the building in the offseason. Mike Rose among them, Micah Awe, Cameron Judge. These guys are all having good seasons elsewhere, but Stampeders just changing up the dynamic of their D a little bit this season.
This time the completion to Robistelli on 2nd and 5. Good enough for the first down. Tommy Neal, I should say, with the reception there.
Yeah, Tommy Neal, another nice free agent pickup for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, former Toronto Argonaut. There you see Trevor Harris sort of recognizing where pursuit is coming from. Tommy Neal is in a bit of a hole, wants to throw him away from the defender.
Riders trail by 6. 5.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Stampeders showing blitz. Harris pulls it down. Has a receiver, but it's picked off. Interception, Calgary. The 2nd interception of the game for Harris. Godfrey Onyeka with the interception. The Canadian filling in for another Canadian, and Adrian Green making the most of his opportunity. Onyeka with the great pick right along the sideline. Godfrey Onyeka making his 3rd start of the season, his 1st career interception in 7 years.
Yeah, and Onyeka just takes this ball away. You see a little bit of pressure on Trevor Harris, tries to get it out to the sideline to Myers. Looks like the Rider receiver gets his hands on it, but Godfrey Onyeka gets a better piece of it, pulls it away. You know, and the Canadian corner's a little bit of a story to me. You know, Terrell Ford obviously had the big year last year for Winnipeg, moves on to Edmonton, the big free agent contract, and you see a couple of other teams.
Joey, love y'all to the moon.
Playing Canadian corners, Saskatchewan currently playing 2 of them. Godfrey Onyeka filling in for Adrian Green, who already was leading the team with 4 picks. Onyeka, the Wilfrid Laurier grad, getting it done.
Mills with the handoff, bounces left. Nothing doing there. A.J. Allen there for the stop. There's been a lot of Onyekas in the league. Sometimes I got to do a double take to keep track of them.
Figure out the family tree. Godfrey, now his brother Kenny is in Ottawa. Cousin Kosi is playing for Saskatchewan.
Proud football family.
Shout out Slow.
Yes, Nakas also spent some time with Toronto and Saskatchewan. That's Kosi's brother.
Everyone, gang. I'm done. Bam, my hand on you.
And Ife from Carleton University, a Toronto Argonaut draft pick a couple years ago.
Adams dropping back, scrambles to his right, has some room in front of him. Thurman trying to chase him down. Adams reaches for the first down. He's not going to get there. On 2nd and 10, gets 8, 2 yards short. Interesting decision here for a very long field goal or a possibility to go for it here.
Yeah, and I think Dave Dickinson is going to be tempted to go for it, but I now see with the spot, solid 2, Rene Paredes making his way onto the field.
Paredes 6th or 8th all time in CFL scoring, most among active players.
With a long field goal, you'll see a couple more sort of linebacker defensive back types out there on the coverage unit, often called the bomber field goal team. A little bit better coverage guys than the big bodies you usually rely on in protection on a shorter field goal.
Paredes' longest kick of the season is 51 yards. This one looks like it's got the distance, and it's good. From 53 yards, Ray Paredes Stampeders extends Calgary's lead to 8. Trevor Harris will get the ball back here after the field goal, and one of the things he's really credited his success this season has been his continuity. With more on that story, here's Chantel.
Yeah, Trevor Harris has been balling out for right now for the season. He's throwing over 70% when it comes to his completed passes, and I had a chance to talk to him, and he really attributes that success to being in the same system for a second season. And I asked him how that's helped him. Well, he said, listen, I haven't been in the same offense for consecutive seasons for 7 years. And he said that's why he feels like he's taken another step this year and why the offense has gone to new levels. He also mentioned that experience within an offense for a quarterback is more impactful than how many years you can actually play in a league, but that it's been fun and that the quarterback room is dialed in, guys.
Thank you, Chantel. It's certainly shown all year just his comfort level. The handoff right there, Sheldon Arnold coming in from his secondary spot to limit that to no gain. Bring up 2nd and long for Harris.
Yeah, and I found it really interesting talking to Trevor about exactly what Chantel said, like about this experience within the system being more important than the fact that he's been in the league for a long time. And you really do see the fruits of working with the same group for a couple years.
This time Harris swings it out to Ouellette, who has some room, has a first down before being brought down after a gain of 11.
Yeah. And this is sort of the classic take what the defense gives you. They're going to drop off. 2nd and long situation. There you see A.J. Ouellette all by himself in that picture. Enough space for Ouellette to move the sticks.
First down at their own 51-yard line. Riders are getting trailed by 9. Looking to pull it within a score here. This time the handoff inside. That time Mario Anderson with the carry. Gain of 4.
Anderson getting a bit of an opportunity as the second running back dressed for Saskatchewan their last couple games. Remember back to the start of the season, Thomas Bertrand Udon had a big game coming on in relief. Their running back, Kadeem Carey, also filling that role for a while prior to his injury against BC a couple weeks ago.
Anderson with 60 touchdowns during his collegiate career. This time a big sack. My goodness, Justin Herdman-Reed coming out of nowhere. Or is that Sean Peterson with the sack there? Sean Peterson with the sack. My apologies, unblocked. Harris took a lick.
Yeah, and you watch the protection. Leaves Sean Peterson on the back side of this. Miscommunication. Watch the reaction of the right tackle, Jamarcus Hardrick. He expects his guard to be helping him on the inside.
Not much space for Horton as he gets taken down at his own 16-yard line. Calgary at home in front of 28,000 fans take a 9-point lead into the 4th quarter. 15 minutes to go. I think these two teams still have a lot left to give us.
Well, you take a look at these numbers after 3 quarters. The Calgary Stampeders gaining a little bit of traction, that running game picking up, and that leading to some success in the passing game. I think one of the things that stands out is their defense getting going a little bit, getting after Trevor Harris again.
Yeah, 3 sacks, including a big one. Harris went to the tent. We'll be having Chantel all over that situation to see what's going on. He's out of the tent now, but just you can tell that he's feeling the pressure.
Yeah, I think it has impacted Trevor Harris a little bit as it would.
Want to get hit like that, I'm telling you, boy.
Any quarterback. You take a look here at the offensive right side, left side of your screen. Tackle Jamarcus Hardrick, guard Zach Fry. Hardrick sees the rush go inside. He expects to have help on the inside. But Fry had also turned in, and that leaves Sean Peterson a straight run to the QB.
Hardrick clearly not happy. Mills breaks one tackle, breaks a second tackle. Still fighting. Gets it to about the 23-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play. Almost 7. Let's take a look at that hit on Harris again.
Yeah, takes that shot. Again, unobstructed. You just worry about the head as he comes down. A little bit of a jolt there for Trevor Harris as he hits the turf. So hopefully he's okay and able to remain in this ball game.
And a perfect job at Peterson of finding the strike zone.
Yes.
6 inches higher, and that's a penalty for hit to the head.
Yeah.
But he hits him in the shoulder. Harris on second, or sorry, Vernon Adams on second and 4. Hands it to Jeshurun Antwi. Surprise ball carrier there with a nice gain. Gets it up to the 39-yard line. 15 yards in the play, more than enough for a first down.
Yeah, Antwi, Calgary native, University of Calgary grad. Found his way home in free agency in the offseason. Spent most of his career with Montreal before joining BC late last year, but terrific back, able to spell Dedrick Mills a little bit on a heavy workload day such as this.
Well, we saw Mario Anderson for Saskatchewan in the third. Now it's Antwi's turn here. This time the fake, the end around to Philpott. Trying to find some space there between blockers. Breaks a tackle. Should have enough for the first down. Nice second effort by Jalen Philpott. 11 yards on the play.
Yeah, Jalen Philpott feeling it a little bit. We've seen him a few times chipping in on the run game. And, you know, this is the type of play, as you saw, the path that Calgary elects to take with that, where Jalen Philpott goes behind his quarterback and takes the handoff rather than going in front of him and taking a shovel pass, where it would be an incomplete pass if there's an issue. This is one of the things Dave Dickinson talked to us about for their mentality offensively. They don't want it to be a pass play because they want their offensive line to be able to attack and go forward on a run play.
Philpott with more rushing yards than he does passing yards. That probably changes after this one. Gain of over 20 for Philpott, 22 yards, and another first down.
Well, the Calgary Stampeders have to be enjoying having a healthy Jalen Philpott in their lineup as you're really starting to see this young man's talent shine through.
Well, it's Tyson's turn. Right, every year they alternate injuries.
Yeah.
Tyson, I know you're watching. You're not going to be happy I said that, but that goes all the way back to their time in Calgary. They took turns. They're brothers. They share. Tyson Philpott expected back shortly after the bye for Montreal. I'm sure that Jason Moss will be excited to see that. Dedrick Mills with the carry here as Calgary tries to lean on their run game a little bit longer with a 2-score lead. 11.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of this big Western showdown.
Yeah, and you saw Dedrick Mills and find some traction in the third quarter of this ball game. They want to keep that going. You know, one of the stats again that caught my attention in the lead up to this ball game is the Saskatchewan, the win over Saskatchewan was the only game this season in which Vernon Adams, who's having a terrific year, only game in which he's completed over 20 passes, and it tells you a little bit about the importance of Dedrick Mills in the run game.
12 completions for VA today. Number 13 right here to Philpott again, who's coming up big on this drive.
Great chemistry between VA and Philpott. Terrific flow going here.
Fourth red zone appearance for Calgary. They're 3 for 3 so far. Adams with a pair of touchdowns. This time the sweep to Brooks. Brooks looks to cut back on Allen. Not much doing there. Gets to the 12-yard line. Pickup of maybe a couple.
A critical moment for both of these teams here. Big second down. Saskatchewan hoping they can keep this as a 2-score game, limit the Stampeders to a field goal attempt. Obviously, Dave Dickinson with a completely different idea of how he'd like to see this drive play out.
Mace needs his D to come up with a stop here. 2nd and 8 yards to go. Adams drops back to pass, just a 4-man rush. He has a receiver, Brooks. Touchdown, Calgary! Eric Brooks with his 2nd touchdown of the season.
Calgary offense is going to stay out there and go for 2, but let's take a look at Vernon Adams' latest touchdown pass, just over Tavon Campbell on the corner into the waiting arms of Eric Brooks. And we knew one of the storylines coming into this game was that some receivers were going to have to step up for the Calgary Stampeders in order for them to be successful. And we have certainly seen that. Jalen Philpott, really their most experienced receiver available for this ball game, leading the way.
Aggressive play here for Dave Dickinson, going for 2, trying to go up 17 points and make it a 3-score game. Adams scrambles to his left. Is he going to keep it? He is. He's going to keep it and score. Vernon Adams puts his team up 17 points with just over 9 minutes to play in the 4th.
Vernon with a little celebration performance, I think, for a couple of Rider fans over in the end zone bleachers.
An 8-play, 93-yard drive capped by a perfect throw from Vernon Adams to Eric Brooks. Stamps in control at home.
On a big scoring drive for the Calgary Stampeders, extending their lead to 17. That run game continues, whether it was Mills, Antwi, or Jalen Philpott. And Philpott really carrying the load for the Calgary Stampeders on that drive. Couple of big catches. And then Adams to Eric Brooks for the touchdown, and VA making it a 3-score game with that 2-point convert.
This time a deep chip shot kick from Paredes. Prevents the big return, but still gives Saskatchewan the ball at their own 38-yard line. Vernon Adams 4 for 4 in the red zone. You thought I jinxed him. Did I mention he's pretty good in the red zone? That is his 66th career touchdown pass in the red zone.
An absolutely remarkable ratio of touchdowns to interceptions when he gets in close with turnovers.
66 to 3 touchdown passes to interceptions. This time the quick pass to Tommy Neal. Takes a big hit, knocked out of bounds after a gain of 7.
Yeah, I don't know if he took a big hit or delivered a big hit. Tommy Neal, bit of a load with the rock in his hands.
And this is the best way to defend the run game. Play with a lead.
Absolutely.
You look at Saskatchewan, as good as their defense has been against the run, they came into this game having faced 30 fewer rushing attempts than every other team in the league. Yeah. They're going to have to throw the ball now. This time the quick throw on 2nd and short. It's Neal again with the reception, good enough for a first down into Calgary territory to their 48-yard line. Saskatchewan going no huddle here.
Yeah, partly shaking things up, partly recognizing that with the 3-score game that Dave Dickinson was able to turn this into.
And another sack for Calgary. Their 4th sack of the game, this time Justin Sambu. We haven't heard his name much today.
Sambu, number 97, getting in that D-line rotation. Calgary native, started his career at the University of Maine, transferred to Baylor. Just a straight bull rush there, collapsing the pocket. And Calgary, again, kind of been the one team that's able to get to Trevor Harris in the pocket.
Sanders' first sack of the season for the Baylor products. This time the quick pass to A.J. Ouellette. Not going to get enough back for a first down. Well short, 5 yards short. But you have to think at this stage Saskatchewan's going for it.
Yeah, I mean, you're at a point in the game where you're hoping that you have 3 possessions left. And you got to score on all of them.
And with Brett Lowther's field goal kicking issues, you know one of them needs to be a field goal. At what point do you make the decision that we're just going to try to get touchdowns here, because you could get away with 3 at some point. Harris drops back to pass, feels pressure again, checks it down to Ouellette, fighting for the first down, not going to get there. Saskatchewan turns it over on downs.
Not for lack of effort from Harris and Ouellette, but the Calgary Stampeders come up big to snuff out the drive.
Today is Purolator Tackle Hunger Day at McMahon Stadium. For over 20 years, along with the CFL and its member clubs, the Purolator Tackle Hunger program has delivered over 25 million pounds of food to families in need. Go to PurolatorTackleHunger.ca to donate.
One of the great initiatives in the Canadian Football League. Its teams and its fans doing a fantastic job to support it.
Of course, we all remember Chris Schultz, who did so much for this program, along with all of us at the CFL and TSN. Whenever we hear about the Tackle Hunger program, we are always thinking of Schultz. Calgary takes over from their own 41-yard line after a big third down stop, and we will see a lot of Dedrick Mills the rest of the way here. 5 yards on that first down carry.
Yeah, little question. The Calgary Stampeders will look to grind this out. And you mentioned Saskatchewan having faced less rushing attempts as a defense, because this is a team that has spent so much of the season playing from ahead. Basically, other teams chasing them, forced to throw the football to try to get back in ball games. A very different circumstance here against the Stampeders.
Mills with the handoff again, straight up the middle, close to first down yardage. He's probably going to be about a foot short, maybe a half yard short. Interesting decision coming up here for Dave Dickinson with 5 minutes to go, just over 5 minutes from his own side of the field.
Yeah, he didn't take long to make that decision, though, as he was sending in the short yardage personnel.
Quincy Vaughn 2 for 2 in this situation today, close to last time.
It's funny, Quincy Vaughn was already in the game as a tight end, running the football, and just shifts to be the man under center.
Timeout, Calgary.
And it looks like Dave Dickinson took a little time to rethink the decision.
Yeah, punt team looks like it's on the way out. Maybe did look a little longer than we originally thought.
Yes.
No need to give Saskatchewan life here with a 3-score lead.
Yeah, well, and especially when you talk about giving life, in the sense the biggest thing working against Saskatchewan is the clock.
Sure.
So you don't want to give them a short field where if you're going to give the ball back, you want to make it as long a drive as possible. Punting the ball with a good cover here accomplishes that.
Dante Myers deep to receive. We mentioned Dre McCray, who's also a kick returner for this team, out for the game with an upper body injury. Saskatchewan almost gets to it. Bouncing kick goes out of bounds at around the 15-yard line. No return. An effective kick for Calgary. Meanwhile, 4:39 to go when we come back to Calgary. Is there a comeback to be had? And look who's at quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Former Calgary Stampeder Jake Mayer enters the game. Trevor Harris on the sidelines now, and we're not sure if this had to do with the hit earlier. Harris has certainly taken a beating in this one. This time the give inside to Anderson. Anderson breaks some tackles. Assuming he doesn't come back into the game, Trevor Harris, that is, his streak of 70% completion games will come to an end. He's at 65 today, 15 of 23, and certainly a lot of more important things ahead for Saskatchewan than a completion streak. But backup quarterback, backup running back, does this signal that Saskatchewan is just going to live to fight another day?
I do suspect that to some degree for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
And Mayer takes a big hit from Hutchins, trying to swing it out to Anderson. Mayer gets up slowly.
You know, Saskatchewan is a team that has a very capable backup in Jake Mayer. He's already won one game for them with Trevor Harris out of the lineup. But the fact is, I think past years have kind of suggested that clearly Saskatchewan's best hopes to be successful regular season and postseason rest on the arm of Trevor Harris.
And certainly with what Harris has shown this year in terms of his ability to hit the deep ball, I think that was a criticism Mayer had when he was here in Calgary. Mayer drops back to pass on 2nd and 10. Arimolade comes around the corner, draws a holding penalty. Tommy Neal on the receiving end of Mayer's pass, but I think that one's coming back.
It would certainly appear.
Peyton Collins has had a tough day.
Holding. Saskatchewan number 67. 10-yard penalty will repeat, 2nd down.
Calling that one on Fry, not Collins on the edge.
Not sure that they got the right number, in fact, on that one. I think it may have been Collins on the outside.
2nd and 20. Mayer drops back to pass, having to scramble around, dumps it off to Anderson, and he is brought down after a very short gain. And that'll bring up 3rd and about 18 as we get to the 3-minute warning. When we come back, Saskatchewan will punt away. Calgary will continue to celebrate. All right, Dwayne, I know this was big, but this is bigger. OK Tire Labor Day weekend next Sunday, Winnipeg at Saskatchewan. Toronto takes on Hamilton. Edmonton against Calgary back here in McMahon. And, you know, you have to think that Corey Nace is saving it a little bit with his quarterback and his running back for that big one, which with them losing this week gets a whole lot bigger because that breathing room between them and Calgary is now gone.
Yeah, certainly a consideration back-to-backs for the Riders with the rival Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
51-yard punt by Horton, or by Couch, taken by Horton. Still a physical sequence down there. Lots of hitting between these two teams, and this is the last time they will face each other in the regular season. But I'm sure they're looking ahead at some point to a rematch in the playoffs if it gets to that.
Well, there's obviously that potential, and the way things have played out in terms of the regular season standings to this point would suggest that that's a reasonable possibility.
After this one, if this holds, just one game will separate Calgary and Saskatchewan going down the stretch here. The handoff to Mills again, bounces to his left before being brought down. Gain of 5 on the play.
And everything sort of changed for Calgary offensively in the second half. Struggling to run the football in the first half of this ball game. Dedrick Mills chipping in with 63 yards here since halftime.
Only had 13 in the first half. You'd think he'd get the carry right here as well on 2nd and 5. Thought Saskatchewan might have been leading there into the neutral zone. No flags. The call or the give to Mills. It picks up 2. That'll bring up 3rd and 3 as the clock continues to wind down. Calgary will punt it away here.
And that obviously the agenda for Calgary is keep that clock moving, put themselves in a position with their punt cover unit to give the Riders as long a field as possible.
The 7th 2-and-out for Calgary in this game. It really has been feast or famine, touchdown drives and 2-and-outs. They're going to pick up a couple first downs. It seems like they were going to score in this game as we approach the 2-minute mark.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan calling a timeout there, which does surprise me a little bit, given what's happened at quarterback and running back, that they wouldn't want this one to just kind of go quietly in the night. But if you know Corey Mace, you know he's always fighting, regardless of who's in the game.
Absolutely.
Wants to give them the best opportunity to have some success. Looks like Jake Mayer will bring the team back out when they get the ball here. Dante Myers deep to receive. Mark Vassett with the punt. Punt taken at his own 15-yard line. Myers tries to give ground to get the corner, but Bailey Devine Scott again with the tackle. He's been all over the place on special teams in this game.
Certainly making his presence felt in the middle of the mix. Getting after Myers, who, as you mentioned, has been pressed into primary kick returner duty with the injury to Dre McCray.
.154 to go, a 3-score game as Saskatchewan takes over deep in its own end. From their own 14, Jake Mayer at the controls. Mayer looks left, then comes back to Del Duncan Busby over the middle. Calling it incomplete on the play, throw a little behind him. No, they did call it complete. 6-yard gain to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, short pickup for Calgary at this point. Obviously, you just don't want to give up chunks that kind of help the Riders in terms of making their way down the field quickly. Make them grind it out, nickel and dime, as the clock ticks.
Mayer drops back to pass, looking over the middle. Has a receiver, Keyshawn Johnson with the nice catch. He still wants to play.
No question. Johnson, a guy we talked about with a couple of big plays in the first half. Saskatchewan's leading receiver this year. Nice arrival. He goes over the 100-yard mark with that catch. But, when we've talked about guys like Justin Hardy, Austin Mack, and others who have been around the NFL a little bit can come in and have an impact. Keyshawn Johnson filled that role for Saskatchewan last year.
Who's that guy?
He looks funny in those colors. Adam Bighill, future Hall of Fame linebacker, getting closer to making his Calgary Stampeder debut from what we hear.
Yeah, he's ready. He's chomping at the bit to get into the lineup. It's tough given how well their linebackers are playing, but Labor Day is certainly an opportunity. Mayer picks up the first down there. Tommy Neal with the reception. Does he play against Edmonton? His first look at the Battle of Alberta on Labor Day?
I think that there's a reasonable chance of that. But Adam Bighill, this is a guy who, whether he ever takes the field for the Calgary Stampeders or not, just as a leader, as a presence, is having a positive impact on this Calgary team.
There certainly is a culture piece that comes with Adam Bighill. Completion to Robustelli, out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
I had a conversation with Stampeders team president Jay McNeil before the game, and he was telling me there was a game earlier in the season. The Stampeders were out of town. Adam Bighill, he was still a new guy here. But with the team out of town, Adam Bighill asked if the guys who were in town, practice roster guys, injured players, and so on, if they could get access to the facility so they could get together to watch the game. Always thinking about bringing the team together.
Saw the 4 players in that shot: Reggie Bagleton, Dom Rhymes, Malik Henry, Adam Bighill. A lot of talent there in street clothes. If some of those guys can get back, look out. This time, is it an interception? No, they're calling it incomplete. Anthony Johnson already has one in this game. Couldn't come down with that one.
Yeah, Saskatchewan Obviously trying to push the ball down the field, taking some chances. 50-50 ball. Anthony Johnson goes up and almost pulls it in. Easy to smile today for VA with his Stamps apparently in control of this one.
Well, they've certainly been in control of the second half. They've outscored Saskatchewan 18-0 through the first 29 minutes of this half. Showing blitz here, deep down the middle to Neal, and he can't bring it in. Damon Webb in coverage. Jake Mayer probably would have liked to have hit a deep ball against this team.
Yeah, and it was good recognition, good execution in terms of your blitz adjustment and read. Jake Mayer taking that shot down the middle, but just slightly beyond the reach of a diving Tommy Neal.
Third and 10, last chance here for Saskatchewan. Mayer dropping back, pressure in his face, makes the completion. Myers with the catch. The ball is loose. They're ruling it a catch and a fumble. Calgary recovers, and they will take over. Let's take a look at this. Did he have possession long enough for the catch?
There goes up and gets it. A little kind of double catch there, but looks, you know, in slow motion, it looks like he has control of it for a second, but that may tell a different story if you look at it in full
review from
speed.
the replay center. It's an incomplete pass. It's first down, Calgary on downs.
So that turned out better for Calgary because they get the ball in better field position. Over 28 seconds left. I think we're just looking at a couple of kneel downs here. And let's take a look at the standings in the West.
And there you see is the CFL on TSN. Decision desk has given this one to the Calgary Stampeders. As you mentioned, now just a one-game lead in the West Division standings for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Well, that makes it a whole lot interesting coming down the stretch. BC had a chance to tie Winnipeg, but Toronto certainly did a number on the Lions in Toronto. So they go into the crossover section there. A very good crowd here at McMahon, and all of them are going to get to go home happy. It is Saskatchewan or Calgary with an outstanding second half performance to take this game 32-15. Dave Dickinson in his 150th career game as a head coach goes home happy.
A big win for Dave Dickinson and the Calgary Stampeders in this one. Coming in a little short-handed offensively. Some veteran receivers out of the lineup, but the Stampeders did not let that become an issue.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders have lost only 2 games this season. Both of them have come at the hands of Calgary, both by at least 2 touchdowns. Calgary has this team figured out. Will they see each other again in the playoffs? We'll find out, but first place is very much up for grabs in the West with this Calgary win. Don't forget, next week it is Labor Day weekend. Games on Sunday and Monday. Saskatchewan takes on Winnipeg. Calgary will take on Edmonton back here at McMahon. You've been watching the CFL on TSN. Stay tuned for SportsCenter after this.